Stay tuned because next up is David Charles Allen, host of The Hop, that's Home Ownership Podcast, to tell us what's happening with real estate in Santa Barbara.
Welcome to The Hop. This is David Charles Allen, realtor of Village Properties in Santa Barbara, California, with my great friend and co-host, Patty Teal. I'm doing wonderful today, Patty. How you doing?
I'm doing well myself, David. Thank you.
Beautiful skies here in Santa Barbara. Looking ahead to weather being scattered throughout the 70s with, again, sunny skies.
Perfect weather.
In terms of how the waves, we've had a little bit of a run of some sneaky wind swell, kind of ground swell mix. It's a little small today. We did have a couple of days of some heavy wind, so it's kind of blown out, but it's fun out there.
That's great. I've never heard of a wind swell being described as sneaky, but I think I know what you mean.
Yeah. And then we can jump into interest rates. We have 5.125% for conforming 30-year fixed and 4.875% for jumbo 30-year. Again, not a lot of movement, but still staying around the 5% range.
Right.
And in terms of how the statistics have performed this last week, we had 54 new listings, 16 price changes, 33 that closed, 31 that went pending, 6 that were coming soon. So I think that's one of the biggest numbers we've had in quite some time, where we're at the 50 level, over 50, and in addition, only 30 pending. So again, some of the biggest new listings and also the biggest differential in gap between new listings and pendings.
Oh, good news for buyers. Yes, I think, David, we haven't had in the 50s for a long time, if ever, since we've been doing the podcast.
Yeah, I think before the holiday season, November, I think probably September, I think we are in the 60 range. We got a couple weeks. But yeah, we've been staying in the 30s and 40s, sometimes even the 20s, ever since the end of last year. So it's nice to see up there at 54 with only 31 pending. That's good news. Prices are still very high in terms of what people expect to in their sell, and then competition is still there. So we'll see how this kind of all plays out with interest rates rising.
Yeah, thank you.
Any questions for the day?
Well, David, everybody's talking about the economy. The stock market is down and cryptocurrencies have kind of crashed. And it looks like, according to some experts, we may be going into a recession. But I've been reading articles that even though in past recessions, especially the big one in 2008, home prices went down, a lot of experts don't think that's going to happen this time. Because of the supply and demand, and there's such a high demand and low supply. What do you think?
It's really hard to say. I think demand is very high while the supply is low, but that's also because there's a lot of money floating around right now. If money dries up in certain areas, demand's going to drop significantly because people can't afford things. Again, if the stock market drops a significant amount, if wages are temporarily slowed or layoffs, then that's again going to cause demand to go down. So it's really hard to say in terms of what exactly is going to happen. But I was one of the people that thought the market was going to go down right away. And it ended up doing the opposite because of the influence of the Fed just printing money. And all that money went somewhere. It basically was kept afloat by multiple $1 trillion. And then it just skyrocketed from there because people had all this money. The stock market was still doing well. So again, there are so many influences to why the market has come to what it is and why the demand's so strong now. But if for any reason the money dries up or there's not more influence money from the feds, then you could very well see a significant drop, or you could see a minor correction. It really depends on factors I can't control and I can't predict. It's an interesting way the money system's set up in this country and how things can be controlled one way or another.
Right. And the economy is so closely tied to home prices. I really learned that.
Yeah. So again, if home prices were to stall or purchases were to stall, you're talking about everything and everyone that earns money from home purchases. That goes to investors, contractors, real estate agents, inspections, plumbing, every kind of trade you can think of. They usually make most of their money during home sales. Then you're talking about mortgage lenders, then you're talking about appraisers. So if the money dries up, the demand slows, then the economy slows in terms of this microeconomy. It might not be immediate, but you're going to see repercussions within 12 months, 2 years, something like that. In terms of the stock market, if the stock market significantly drops, demand's going to significantly drop. But at the same time, when the stock market's not doing well, people like to invest in real things. So that's a temporary uptick in terms of demand there. And, it's hard to say what can really happen.
Yeah, very interesting, David. Thank you for your perspective. And it seems as though there's always money to be made if you know how to do it. But some people probably profit or make money when the prices drop on houses if they're investors, I would assume.
Yeah, they make a lot of money because they buy when it drops. And they have 10 houses that they just turn into rentals. And then when the market goes back up, their gains are just incredible. So a lot of investors make a lot of money when the prices of home drops because that's when they purchase.
So, David, I want to make sure we give people your contact information, especially since there's new houses to be seen. Could you give your phone number?
Yeah, my phone number is 805-617-9311. And my email address is david@davidcharlesallen.com.
And how are the fur babies?
Everyone's doing really well. They're just enjoying life. Everyone's laying in bed right now, so they can't be happier.
I just love it. I have dogs that will sleep in too. I wouldn't want to have to get up and roughhouse at 6 or 7 in the morning.
Yeah, Mango's on his window perch and everyone's just chilling. They already got their walk this morning, so everyone's hanging out.
Very sweet. Well, I'm still watching Riley, my grand dog, the golden retriever, and he's, for the most part, been good. He's good with my dog, who is much, much smaller, but I haven't really mastered taking him for a walk yet. Sometimes he's good, and sometimes he just decides not to go, and he'll just sit down or he'll roll around in the grass. I mean, people are laughing at me because the dog is not walking. He's just rolling and rolling and rolling. So I don't know if it's just me or if this is an ongoing problem, but I think I need to watch some dog training videos.
That's just what happens, if the dogs just act on their own.
They sure do. So he's a handful. Anyway, well, thank you, David, for all your perspective on house prices and the latest stats and interest rates. We really appreciate it.
Sounds good, Patty. Let's give it a go next week.
Thank you, David.
Thanks, Patty.